Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Brain. Sorry it's been so long, but let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be looking at the Asunta Case, now premiering on Netflix in the US. It's a docudrama series based on a real life murder case. Spoilers will be ahead. I will mention some things. I will try not to spoil the entire series, but there will be spoilers. Now, on a side note, I think a lot of Americans are missing out on things coming out of Spain and Korea. Some of the best sci-fi movies I've seen the last year have come from Spain and Korea. They just they're killing it. And whether you read it subbed or listen to it dubbed with American voice actors, they're great stories. So when I saw this pop up this weekend, I was like, I don't know if I'm really into watching something really dark, but I watched the first episode and was drawn in. Let's kind of break it down a little bit. This is a true life case that went back, that started in 2013. So this has been about a decade since it's passed. And this is one of the stories that just ripped through headlines through all of Spain. Everyone in Spain knew about the case, everyone talked about it. It was just one of those things that it was unfathomable. Why? Because a young 12-year-old girl was murdered. And this would just rock the world in Spain. It just rocked their world because Asunta, the young girl, was the first Chinese adopted uh, child in Santiago, Spain. And one of the things I did notice on this is, from an American point of view, the way the Spanish justice system works. I looked into it a little bit to kind of see how their investigation style differs from America, and there usually is a judge that goes through the entire investigation, especially on high profile cases, to make sure everything is done according to the law. So we actually see a judge at the crime scene, a judge that is fully involved with doing all this, but is not the end presiding judge. But he is a judge who oversees cases, and it's I think a better term. They kept saying judge, but I think the proper term is magistrate. Uh, it's a little iffy. I'm a little confused on it. But if anyone would like to enlighten me, put it down below to help share a link to help me understand the justice system in Spain a little better. I'd love to learn. So it really is a real life case. Now, you can go to the Wikipedia entry and it breaks down a lot of the stuff in the show itself. You know, it breaks down some of the facts, some of the parts of the investigation, the people involved, the timeline, and basically what it comes down to is this: nothing was 100% proven when it comes to motive. And the docudrama series does a lot to speculate. And that's because it's a docudrama series, not a documentary. Now, the producers and one of the directors of this docudrama series actually made a documentary on this case years before, so they're well versed in what happened, being close to the investigation at the time, doing the documentary. So there's a lot of, some people, I've read a few reviews on it this weekend, and they're like, oh, I hate it because they just made all this speculation. Well, they have to make a lot of speculation, to be honest, because nothing was ever proven as to motive or why it was done. But in the end, it was proven and upheld that both parents were responsible for the death of their daughter. Now, why is this? Well, the wife definitely became mentally unstable. Multiple trips and stays to a psychiatric facility, and was medicated, and eventually she went and had an affair. And Husband found out about it. Things got very contentious, and they separated. And then were divorced quickly after. And he got an apartment literally around the corner from his former home, so his daughter could literally walk between the homes and see both of them together. Now, at some point in her preteen eras, this is her mom started getting frustrated with her and her behavior and things like that, and started using her own lorazepam prescription to sedate her, calm her down, keep her quiet, uh, keep her in check while she went and had her affair, who was also a married man at the time. I didn't see anything that happened with him. I couldn't really find anything if he's still married, still has his child, don't like that. But she was having an affair with a married man as well, and that's just okay. And this and the series does a lot of speculation on possible motives or possible reasoning. But what it looks like is the mom over medicated her daughter to the point where she asphyxiated. She literally just stopped breathing. And it appears that the husband, so madly in love with his ex-wife, despite the affair, helped her try to cover up the murder. And this is what was upheld. And it is a heart-wrenching docu-series, and it's, as a parent, it just kills me to watch something like this, but it was intriguing to understand that someone would do this. But yeah, I mean, it was a hard watch, but I was compelled to figure out what happened. And a lot of people, it even shows how the people in the town reacted, how the jury speculated. Things that were recorded and leaked but not presented in court are in the docudrama series, and it really paints a weird speculation of what was going on. Now, some of it I do think probably is false, but adding it to the docudrama series adds another level of, I don't want to say disgust, that's not the right word, depravity to the crime itself. And if you've watched it, you know what I'm speaking of. But both parents were eventually convicted, and in the real case, it shows the docudrama, and it stops after the trial and just does text updates on what happened afterwards, which is probably a good thing. Rosario Ortega, the mother, Rosario Porta, I think is her given name, Rosario Porta Ortega, eventually took her life inside the prison system a few years into her sentence. And the father, Alfonso Bastera, is still serving his sentence, and he says he will continue to serve out the rest of his sentence. Now, and it talks a lot about, in this docudrama series, and it alludes to maybe the parents did this because it wasn't their natural born daughter, but an adoptive daughter. And I don't think that's even a thing. I think that was just something that was spurred on by the media to help try to understand it, but I don't think that this is the thing. The docudrama puts forth the case that this really was the full result of the mother's mental instability, her narcissism, her desire to get what she wants, and at all costs. We all know people like that. And it doesn't matter who she hurt as long as she got what she wanted. And this is a hard thing to watch. And she did it all at the cost of her daughter's life. And honestly, it was a compelling docudrama. But after reading through just the Wikipedia article and several articles across the internet, some of them I had Google translate them for me, and really, it just comes down to there is no specific motive that was ever confirmed. And yeah, they've uh, Bestera has lost all appeals. He will have to serve out his full sentence, and there's just no way. And this is just one of those things that, I mean, it was. I can't really, as a father, I couldn't, but also as a father and as someone who has gone through major trauma in a relationship, I can see his motivation, but he went further than I ever could. He wanted his wife above all things at the cost of of protecting her from her crimes. And that's just depraved. And it is just a compelling story in the fact that this was these were two people that did so many wrong things, tried to cover up their wrongdoing for the sake of their own personal motives, their own personal desires, and the cost to achieve those meant nothing as long as they got them. You know, two pure narcissists that really wanted one thing each, and the cost was a young girl's life, and it's unacceptable. Period. Unacceptable. Now, I did like the series, and it was extremely hard to watch. I eventually had to take a break between a couple episodes, but I binged it all yesterday, and it was really compelling, really engaging. But I mean, you gotta, and I watch a lot of true crime stuff and all this other stuff, but I had to stop just because of the nature subject or the nature of the subject. But I don't know how you say that, honestly. But the fact that this involved two parents and their daughter, just it was terrible and infuriating, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that this exists. But I remember this is a fallen world, and this stuff does happen, and it's a hard watch. Now, do I recommend it if you're a true crime junkie and just love watching this stuff and trying to understand how the depravity of man really is and the fallenness of sin and how it corrupts people, it's good. But as a parent, it's a hard watch. Period. End of sentence. So I I do like it. I wouldn't say it's amazing. I do think there's a lot of speculation in it, but I mean they had to. There's just nothing was proven in court to motivation. They stuck strictly with the facts, never dealt with motive. Just these are the facts. These are the things we can prove, and neither parent gave any particular reason why something like this would have happened. They still maintain the fact that it did, and it was someone else. And even though there was another suspect, but the suspect was due to a lab in Madrid making a contamination mistake. And you feel bad for that guy because his life was turned upside down for something he didn't do. And yeah, that's rough too. I mean, that's a hard thing to get rid of. I mean, you got to be like, wow, this guy was just trying to live his life, and boom, now he's a suspect. And that's what it is. And I really did enjoy watching the whole drama, but about halfway through, I just looked up and was like, "Is this a real case?" And I was looking it up on my phone, and I was just like, "Wow, this is real. This happened. This is terrible." And sure enough, it is a dark series. It is just one of those ones where you watch, you're like, "Wow, I think I'm going to go need a long hot shower after this one." And it was, it was just, it's dark and it's not meant to be a good feeling movie. It's to show you one of the darkest moments in recent history that rocked the entire country of Spain, and with good reason. So if this is your cup of tea, I say give it a shot because it was very compelling. I think the acting was good, even though I watched it here in the U.S. where it was dubbed. The English was dubbed over the original Spanish speaking, and but not just the voice acting, but you can really see it in the Spanish actors' faces, their drive. There were a couple that I was like, man, they just don't really get it. But it's a docudrama series. It's a dramatization of what happened. This isn't a documentary, but it was good. And it left you thinking, wow, there's a lot of possible reasons following and expounding on possibilities that of facts that were released but never quite fit neatly into the story, into the narrative itself. So, I mean, this is one of those. It's a 4 out of 5 for me. I mean, it was great. It could have been a little better, but I mean, I think it could have been better if it wasn't a real case. If it wasn't a real case, I probably would have given it a 5. But the fact that it was real is just hits me deep in my heart, and I don't like that. That it just this really happened. No matter if this is a dramatization of the story, the fact is the young girl lost her life because of her parents and no one else. So I know it's a little off center, but don't worry, I've got other things coming down the pipeline that'll hopefully cheer you a lot more up. And till next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.